Hey everybody, it is May 5th, 2026. It is Joe from the Strange Voyage Files. Wow, this thing is really, it's a pretty light background, so there we go. I'm doing something a little different today. I am gonna go through my old demos. Had to turn one of the lights on. It was a little bit too dark. All right. Back in the 80s, early 90s, especially with thrash, a lot of demo tapes were starting to appear. Now, in the early 80s, a lot of demo tapes were like just copied. You know, there were ads in magazines and metal magazines where you could trade tapes, and that's how, some of the Metallica tapes and Motley Crue and all these early demos got nationwide because you would trade these tapes or you would buy these tapes and from ads and whatnot. And then as we get into maybe like the mid 80s and whatnot, because after the 70s, people became more self-reliant on getting their music out there. It was very difficult to have a record company agree to put your album out or to do a demo or whatnot. So a lot of bands just said, screw it, we're just doing it on our own. And again, the late 80s and through the early 90s was probably, I would say, the golden age of a lot of these bands. So I found this. Well, I didn't find it. It's been up in my closet. This thing, God, there's so much dust. Can you even see? Look at that. Hang on. Look at that. God. Yeah. Probably did this when I was 13, 14. Nah, probably more like 15, 16. Demos and extra tapes. I guarantee extra tapes were probably the blank tapes that I was going to use to put stuff on, copy stuff. And then Ozzy. Yep. All right, I'm just going to go through these. This is, I grew up in Chicago. So I always talk about Rolling Stones records, okay? In Norwich. Down the street was another record store, music store, called, and the reason I call it music was because it was called no, it wasn't called, it was called Beyond the Limit. They sold t-shirts, that was their big thing, and just independent demos. They would not touch any record company release. In fact, they would tell you, go down the street to the corporate sellouts at Rolling Stones and buy the Black Sabbath album or the Ozzy or the Dio or whatever it may be. And Rolling Stones is an independent record store, but to Beyond the Limit, Rolling Stones was the enemy. And they had, piercings and things like that and a whole bunch of other stuff. But it was mainly t-shirts, and if you wanted demos, man, there were just tons of demos. So I'm going to go through these. Some of them a lot faster than other. This is, if you're not really interested in this, that's cool. This is, oh man, Syndrome. I loved this band, Into the Halls of Extermination. And I actually got this from a girl who worked at Rolling Stones because I went into Rolling Stones. Look at this. I got to do the thing. I actually went into Rolling Stones and looked for this, and I asked, do you have Syndrome? And the girl said, no, I know the guy in the band though. And she got me this tape. I think it was like $5. This band, I don't understand. Well, all right. So a guy I knew knew the singer. The guy I knew was in the scene. He was in a lot of bands, things like that. And he knew the singer Troy Dixler, who basically ran Syndrome. And I never understood because this band is awesome. They actually ended up just a few years ago. They released this Resurrection. It's that Into the Halls of Extermination. And their other demo tape, which I know I gotta have. God. Where is it? That's crazy. I know I have it. Well, anyway, it's the two demo tapes and then some live stuff. And And I just never understood why they never got signed. The guy I knew said that, and I have no idea if this is true or not, that Troy Dixler was waiting for a better deal from a record company. I don't know if that was true or not, but this band was phenomenal. They should have gotten signed. You can still get copies of this on eBay. I definitely suggest get it. Syndrome Resurrection. Definitely suggest it. But yeah, Syndrome was great. This one was like, I love this. My buddy Marty was in this band, Leadfoot. They opened for Trouble. I saw Trouble at the Gateway Theater, and a riot broke out because it's funny. So there was a mosh pit, and I was right there. I was right there. Somebody knocked into somebody, as you would, and they spilled their beer on somebody, and that was it. Big fight broke out. Well, I think it was while Trouble was playing. But yeah, I saw Leadfoot open for Trouble. Recorded 1190. Not going to show this because it has an address on there. 1190 Solid Stone Studios in Hoffman Estates. I wonder if they're still there. Absolutely awesome. Lead singer's name is Bonifer. Come on. All right, Leadfoot. Yeah, this band didn't go anywhere, but still a great three-song demo. This band I loved. This was another one out of Chicago. Stygian, Earthly Homicide. This is so awesome. It's my background. I loved this band. Again, there's info on here, so I'm not going to show it. Again, 3-song demo, 88, 87. Man, and then they did actually release a full, well, I'll get to it. Then they did this one, Seconds Till Death. Another great one. And Lines in the Sand. This was for the Iran, the Persian Gulf War. But they actually did go pretty far. They released an album. And I actually didn't care. I just got this. Just came in the mail today. I didn't really care for this album. I wanted to get it, but didn't really care. I liked the demos more than I liked the album. But I had this before, sold my collection, so I got it. I wanted to get it again. What is our next one? Oh, all right. So this was Chicago's answer to hair metal, Def Con. I saw these guys at the Thirsty Whale. They were really good. They were really, really good. And they did 3. Now, here's the interesting and the fun thing. Phase 2. Yeah, you're reading that right. Produced by Rudy Sarzo. Rudy Sarzo, and I believe this one as well. Into the Night. Was this? Let me see if this was... Again, I don't want to show stuff because I think it has addresses. Who knows if they... Yeah, it does. Yep. 2 of the songs were produced by Rudy Sarzo. These guys were really good. Another one, yeah, a guy, one of my buddy Brian went to high school with the guitar player in this band, I think. But yeah, I saw them a couple times at the Thirsty Well. Great club. It's gone. But Def Con, I don't know if they released an album. They may have. I gotta search eBay for that. They were really cool. Mortar, this band, this guy was great, and I talked to him. His name, I think it was James Harris. I remember I got suspended from school or something, and I called him on the phone, because you would send a tape, and he would put the demo on the tape. Great way to get your music out there, and he would mail it back to you. And there's a ton of songs on here. There's like 20 songs. Now, maybe like 15, 16. I remember the one that stuck out is Hellfire. Hellfire was awesome. But, oh no, Summer Doubles on the second side. At any rate, I remember he sent it back. He's like, hey man, if you he sent me an autograph picture, and he's like, hey, if you're ever interested, you want info, give me a call. He was really cool. I talked to him on the phone. I was like 16. What did I get suspended for? I don't know. Oh no, I think it was one Catholic school I went to. It was a really good school, and I was a really bad student, and I got booted. That's what it was, and that's when I called them, and I was like, yeah, I got kicked out of this one school for grades. It wasn't I didn't do anything bad. I was never got in trouble. My dad would have just terrified that my parents would kill me. It was all for grades. I got kicked out of the school for grades. Study, kids, study. But it was a school I never should have been at. My mother forced me to go to this school and ended up going to a different Catholic school afterwards, which was more of a mainstream school and did fine. But yeah, I told him that. He's like, oh man, it's pretty bad. You got kicked out of school. I'm sure your parents aren't happy. I'm like, no, they're not. But he was a really cool guy. But James Harris, I think his name was. But yeah, they were Mortar. They may have had an album. I gotta look this stuff up. This band, I just looked up Mortality, and there's a song on here. They're out of Sweden. They are still around. I just looked at it today. Dead by Dawn, and I ordered 2 albums on eBay. No, one's on Discogs. I remember I vividly remember buying this. It was a Sunday, and I walked to Rolling Stones, then I walked down to Beyond the Limit, and I saw this with the Wizard. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. And I remember talking to this is funny. I will tell you this story. I remember talking to the cash. I used to talk to the girl that worked there all the time, and I was a lot thinner, so I had a chance. I would talk to her, and I would talk to her, and I would talk to her. And this is how I learned. I was probably 17, 18. She had to be young. She had to be like 22 or so. But she looked like she was my age. And this is how I learned, always check the ring finger. So I'm going in there forever and talking to her. She's really cool, but still mustering up the nerve to ask her out and whatnot. And it was this one. And no, it wasn't this. It was not this. It was another demo that I couldn't stand. So it wasn't this one. But she did tell me this one was great, and she was right. But at any rate, I finally asked her out. After buying, I think I know which demo it is. It sucked. One that somebody she knew was in the band. And I had asked her, I said, hey, you want to whatever, go wherever, and blah, blah, blah. And she goes, oh, and she put her hand up. She goes, I'm married. She's like, or else I absolutely would. You seem like an awesome guy. Again, I was a lot thinner then, and I had hair. And I was like, oh my God. And I remember telling my buddy's brother that story, and he goes, always check the ring. Now, he's 5 years older than me, so he's already in his early 20s. Always check the ring finger. And I'm like, I thought she was, 17, 8, whatever I was. And maybe she was, and just who knows. But, yeah. This one, I don't remember this one. Dark Ages, Lady Dead. Yeah, I don't remember this one. One hell of a cover, huh? I don't remember this one. I mean, I remember getting it. 88. Yeah, Chicago. Yep, Sea Grape Studios. I don't remember much about this one. I do remember listening to it. It didn't leave too much of an impression on me. This next one, however, I loved. Yes, and this is The Gate Enchanter, The Gates of Insanity. And I think they had other demos out, and I loved this one. What was the song? I think Never Too Young was the one that blew me away. This is another one that I just didn't get why they did not go any further. 89. Again, there's addresses and stuff. I love this one. And again, the vast majority, DEF CON was really the only one that wasn't thrash. This was when I was I was into thrash for about 5 years. Or so. So then Mortar. Oh, so Mortar did. Yes, they came out with this. Created. and awesome. Oh, this is cool. They have a song, if you can see, Evolution. That's awesome. Long before Ronnie did it. That is really, really cool. Mortar was great. Another band I loved, absolutely loved, Stonehenge. There were probably 12 billion bands called Stonehenge. God. Where is this one at? Maybe I can show more of this. Here are the guys. God, just going down memory lane, man. City, Chicago? Lindenhurst, yeah. Suburb. Rolling Meadows. Yeah, this was a pretty... I remember this was a pretty good... I gotta play these. God, I gotta go back and crackers on them. Leviticus. Yeah, I had to like kind of... It was just a tape. I did that. I remember... Setting Fire to the Earth. I think I liked this because that title rings a bell, but... All right, this one is still big in Chicago. This band, Seventh Heaven. This is a glam rock band. And this is their first demo. They play... I know people who love this band. They play all the time in Chicago. And I did like this. This is total glam rock. Total glam rock. But yeah, they were... I don't know what incarnation of this band is still around. But if you're watching this in Chicago, you probably have heard of them because they still roll around. Yeah, they my guy I used to be friends with used to go see them all the time. But yeah, this was their first demo. The time has come, and it's Chicago in the background before the city went to hell. This is the, I believe it's either this or the next one is the one that the girl told me to get. RMS. And I remember I didn't like. And I believe, yeah, this was more glam rock. Livin', yeah, Livin. Yeah, that's definitely going to be glam rock. Yeah, there was an insert. Is this supposed to be like a little poster or something that you could hang in your room? It's the lyrics. It's kind of cool. Yeah, this is probably her husband's band or something, if this was it. Yeah, Brookfield. Yeah, keyboards. This was definitely glam rock. I don't remember much about this. In fact, no, I do. I remember I didn't like this. So it was either that one or this one. But I think I like the silence. This is glam rock too, but I remember I did like this. God. Look at these guys. Oh my God, that was stuck in there. Probably haven't been taken out since 1990. What is the year? What's the year on this guy? Unauthorized reproduction prohibited by law. You'll be prosecuted. I'm sure you wanted this thing copied and sent out to as many people as possible, guys. Who are we lying to? Did I have a year on here? Really kind of curious. Orland Park, so yeah, Chicago. No. I don't think this one was as bad. I think it was that RMS one that I bought. She just said she can't go out with me. Why am I buying this crap? And then I don't think I went back to Beyond the Limit for a while. I think Aftermath 89. I don't remember much about this at all. The Words That Echo Fear. Where's it? Yeah, maybe I did listen to this. Again, Chicago. Man, it's crazy how these guys would just put their names and phone numbers. But I mean, yeah, they wanted to get signed. They wanted to have somebody to, yeah, they wanted to be able to contact. I don't remember much about that one. This one, I did like this one. This was really cool. It's the guy just sitting there listening to his boombox. Arise. They wrote and this is, and this is what it was all about. Look at, they just, that was like photocopied. One of the guys in the band was probably an artist. Love it. Look at that. Rise Adrenaline. There's nothing in here. It's all on here. I think I like. Is there anything there? I remember any? Adrenaline Abducted. Yeah, these ones. I don't remember. Crap. Not Us. Yeah, I don't remember anything about these guys. Oblivion. Nah. And I think I did these. I put these in order of like how much I liked them. I remember I couldn't. Onyx. I didn't like this band at all. Yeah, absolute glam garbage. Don't even ask me why. She don't know me. She doesn't know me. Probably didn't want Bon Jovi to sue him. Leviticus. No, that was the other one. Latum. Conformity Comes Easy. This is definitely not glam. But again, one I don't really remember. Oh, it's even got a parental advisory on it. Parental advisory. Probably sure they did that to be cool. Where are these guys out of? Oakland, Illinois. I don't even know where that is. Oh, Champaign. It was downstate. Probably a band out of University of Illinois, Champaign. Erratic. Nothing. Couldn't tell you. Rock You Tonight. This is most definitely glam metal. And then... God. Best of the B... I made this. Best of the B-sides and unreleased songs. So that's it. Those are my demo tapes from back in the day. But some of the, some of the bands, obviously forgettable. Some of them, man, really were awesome. Stygian, however the hell you say it, great. Syndrome was great. I love Defcon. It was very pop metal, and I absolutely did love them. So, man, wow, I should have picked a different background. This thing is really shining off my fat face, but whatever. Yeah, this was just fun. I kind of wanted to reminisce, and there were so many, for people like us, there are so many bands that come and go. We have our Black Sabbaths and we have but there are so many bands that we went out and we bought these demo tapes, and okay, or they were great at a time. Like, I love the background of Stygian, against Chicago being destroyed, and the skeleton guy. But there's so many of us have that same memory that, God, this band was really awesome. This local band was great. And I went to a few shows and then they're just lost to the dust of time. Totally forget about them. Totally. And some of them, again, were great. But let me know in the comments. Again, it's going to be a crapshoot if you're from Chicago and you knew these bands, because I, don't get a ton of people watching the videos. But if you are one of them, let me know if you knew of any of these. All right, like, subscribe, and I will see you.